But the first time that I actually got to play on an acoustic drum kit was in first grade. My dad brought out his old Rogers Holiday drums out of storage. I didn't even know that he was a drummer, but he brought them out and he set them up, and I got to play on them. And then he just left them set up, and basically there's been a drum set in my house set up ever since then. And at first it was just something I could do. It wasn't a regular thing. I didn't have a practice schedule, but I would just go and play. And in fact, when I would sit down and play, I would write songs. I just immediately, I started trying to come up with songs, and I started trying to, put parts together, and I would try and, right, I'm going to play the ride cymbal now because this is the chorus. Of course, it was just me playing the drums, so it's not like, I think most people probably wouldn't actually understand the song form, and frankly, I'm not sure I would either at this point. But, it was very helpful. And then in fourth grade, I started working with Sam Meese. We were good friends. We met, I think, in the first grade. I played drums. He picked up the guitar in second grade. And he liked Bruce Springsteen. I liked Rush. Let's form a band. And so in fourth grade, we wrote a song, and we performed it together at the arts fair, which happened at Prairie View, and we just kept doing that. Every year, we would write a new song, or we would learn a new song, and we would play it at the art fair. And then in eighth grade, we decided that we were going to go pro, if you like. And so we added a couple more members, and we started practicing. We started working on, more songs. We started learning more material, and we did actually go pro. That year we got paid. That year in eighth grade was the first time we got paid to play, which was like, oh yeah, that's right. People do actually make a genuine living off of playing music by getting paid to do it, and like that hadn't even occurred to me. I was just having fun playing, and then. Sophomore year, we got second at Launchpad, which was a statewide battle of the bands. We got to open for Kansas, which was really, really cool. And not immediately after, but maybe about a month or so afterwards, I started to think to myself, I've been saying for years that, like, I'm going to be an engineer and then I'll play on the weekends. Or, I'm going to do woodworking during the day and then I'll play music at night. Do I really want to do anything other than music, though? And, I asked myself that, and I said, no, not really. I kind of just want to play music. And so I brought it up to my family, because, it was the summer in between sophomore and junior year, right when people start looking for college, right? And so I floated the idea to them that maybe I wanted to go to college for music. And, of course, they weren't having that. They really wanted me to be an engineer. They wanted to be a scientist. They basically wanted me to get a real job. And but over time, they started to see that, the Distant Cousins was doing better and better. I was becoming more and more focused about it. I went back and started taking lessons, and I really started to, improve my craft. And after a while, they were okay with it. So we went through the college search. I picked a school, and I applied for it. I got accepted. It was a school in St. Paul, Minnesota, called McNally Smith College of Music. Now, for anybody who's paying attention, you might be wondering why it says Berkeley on my jacket. Well, that's because At the end of my first semester, McNally went bankrupt and closed down. So then I transferred out. That was the first year. That was the first thing I did out of high school. Was I went to McNally. It closed. Then in the spring, I went to another small music college, this time in Pasadena, California, called Los Angeles College of Music. To make a very long story short, I didn't like it and I came back. I took a gap year, and once again, I just focused on my craft. I worked. I worked on writing music. I always start the songwriting process from the keyboard. If I try to, I've noticed that if I start trying to write something from the drums, it becomes too rhythmic. It actually becomes too abstract, and you can't. I suppose somebody could, but it becomes extraordinarily difficult. So, in order to keep myself disciplined, enough in the songwriting process to create something that people will want to listen to, and something that can be enhanced by the drums, I start by playing an instrument that I'm not nearly as familiar with. It's sort of like by penning myself into a very small box. I know that first of all that I will be creating something that will be easier to digest, and also something that will be enhanced by the drums, which I'm a lot freer with in any case. The main thing that I try to do, and this is definitely different with every producer you'll ever meet, but the thing that I try to do more than anything else with the stuff that I produce is I try to get as close as I can to the sound of people playing live. I found so many times through the course of the year, through the course of my career so far, that not just with my own music, but with music that I listen to, I often tend to prefer the live recordings, because you really can kind of hear, like, for example, you can hear somebody hit one note that maybe they meant to, maybe they didn't, but then you can hear somebody else react to it. Whether you can kind of hear them start smiling at that person, or you can just kind of, you really get the sense of this is happening in the moment. And so I really try to bring that out as much as I can with the music that I record. In any case, it might sound a little bit cliche, but I'm really trying to create every song so that it can be an anthem, so that it can be as anthemic as possible. I'm trying not to have any throwaway songs. Well, if I don't like what I'm coming up with, I tend just to get rid of it and start over fresh. I don't like continuing with ideas that I'm not sure about, especially for someone like me who is a Berklee student and can apply so much theory and knowledge, and somebody who can nitpick the details. Who can nitpick the details right from the start. It's very important to me that I don't let that, become the overwhelming drive of the song. I don't want the details to drive the song. I want the textures and the dynamics and the overall mood of the song to be driving it. A lot of the best music that's ever been written does that. Follows the mood, follows the texture, follows the rhythm, rather than following the details of the harmony. And that's also that's what tends to translate to a wide audience better. Because not everybody is a Berklee student. Not everybody has the ability to process and absorb and really be entertained by 3 million chords at one time. Yeah, that's the main thing that I try to do.